Hey. All right. Let's get this straight. What's up? Get stuff straight. What's going on? All right. Put you off to the side right here. Gonna be recording from all angles today. All angles. Be recording. I would love your input. We're finna talk about this year on the 46th episode of No Tact Talk podcast. Feel free to leave any comments and come on in with your boy. I got the regular setup, so it's the little gimbal in the Osmo Pocket. So it records. Let me see if I can turn this thing around. Uh-oh. Watch that. Boom. Anyway, so it records here. I will be recording the audio. Let's see. From here, for all you podcast listeners that want to go back and listen to it, and this will also be on YouTube. So, I mean, are we ready to go or what? Like, are we ready to get this in? Let's see if this is even. Yeah, it's even. What's up? Okay. Getting text messages trying to mess up the flow. Okay, so, and I got all of my notes because, man, this episode took a while to make. That's why you didn't get one Sunday, you know what I'm saying? And I got the laptop, everything's recording. So, let's make sure my sound is good. Y'all ready to get it? Y'all ready to get into it? What we talking about? Let's get rid of this. Okay. Let's do a quick test. Welcome back to this episode of the No Tact Talk podcast. We're gonna check it out. We were not recording. Look at that. Is everything plugged up? Oh, I should cut the mic on. Okay. Let's see here. Welcome back to this edition of the 46th episode of the No Tact Talk podcast. Happy New Year! All right. Let's try it again. Welcome back to this edition of the 46th episode of the No Tact Talk podcast. Happy New Year! That's perfect. Y'all hear that? Let me know if you heard it. Hold on, let me turn the thing up. All right. Welcome back to this edition of the 46th episode of the No Tact Talk podcast. Happy New Year! All right. Okay. Did that sound saucy? Should I change the saucy up? Does it sound good? I can change some stuff up. The mic, I got it stretched out over here. Let's see. Go back. Get rich to this. All right. I'm gonna put it here. If y'all want to share this, you can. If not, it's cool as well. Okay. All right, what's up, y'all? What's up? So, one more time. Let me know if that sounds good. Welcome back to this edition of the 46th episode of the No Tact Talk podcast. Happy New Year! All right. Happy New Year. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're saucy and where we need to be. So, let's get down into it. All right, let's just keep these right here for the time being. Welcome back, one and all, back to the No Tact Talk podcast. This is a crazy episode. I have a bunch of cameras set up right now, along with the lights and everything in the background in my little studio. And it's about to be a great episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not sure which clip I'm going to use, but I'm going live on Facebook. I have my actual dedicated camera right in front of me and another one off to the right. I'm trying to do some different things with the angles. And I'm also going to be responding to any Facebook comments that they come up at all about what we'll be talking about today. So guess what? You already know it's the first of the year. Alabama's going to destroy Notre Dame today. Let me just say that off rip. As I'm doing this right before the game comes on. And this previous Sunday, which is when the podcast usually comes out, I didn't do one because it was Christmas and your boy was tired. And we did a lot of traveling. We traveled with my dog, Titan the dog. And it was stressful with a K. It was super stressful, but we did it. It was dope. And we're just tired and jet lagged, man. And we got home. I said, you want to know what? I'm going to make sure I have an episode for the first of the year to make it fun. And to kind of remind you guys of everything that we did this year and everything that happened. It's a lot of stuff that I'm going to talk about today. And it's a lot of stuff that I missed or I might didn't put in there because it might be important to some people, might be important to some other people or other topics. But this the ones that kind of stood out to me. And there's a bunch of more I wanted to put on here. I just want to make this a super long podcast. But I think I pretty much hit, I'm looking through them right now. I think I pretty much hit the bulk of it. And then we'll be done with the day. We can all go watch the game. All right. So at many points this year, I wanted to give kind of like my ideological, viewpoints of how I thought everything was going and how we could push through. But I felt as if though God was keeping me at bay until the year was over. It was a weird feeling because all year, as somebody who talks and who has a podcast and who be on videos and stuff, I wanted to talk about like COVID. I wanted to talk about, and I did on certain podcasts, I talked about, I had an episode with Marcel, my boy Marcel, about Ma Aubrey, about that, and we'll get to that here in a second. But I covered a lot of different topics, but from a holistic view, I thought this would be a great time to kind of look back on this crazy, 2020 of a year. And yeah, it was a lot of negative stuff, but it was also a lot of good stuff too. And it gave us the opportunity to just kind of, have a brain dump and a mind shift for how we want to go into the next year. Because it seems like everybody was just looking forward to this day, January 1. And whether they were in October or August, they weren't like, okay, they weren't like, well, I'm just going to see how this month goes, We already wrote out 2020. So I was like, man, I was trying to, and a bunch of my friends that are kind of my inner circle, they was like, man, we got to make the most of this year. A lot of businesses had to pivot. A lot of, schools had to close down and things like that, because not just from COVID, the pandemic, but it was stages, right? It was stages from probably from March on to where this ain't that serious. It's cool. We'll be all right. These little 2 weeks or whatever. And it's a lot. So let's get on to the list. It's kind of a recap, but these are in no particular order. All these cameras I'm looking at. This is in no particular order. And if I stop halfway through or something, it's probably just I got a comment or something. Y'all want to say something to me, ask any questions, I will stop the list and talk to y'all here on Facebook. Because every now and then, most times when I do it by myself, I will, interact with y'all on Facebook. Because last time I couldn't. But you can't come and talk to me. Because ain't anybody going to be able to hear you on the actual, audio. Because it's going to come out in, an hour. As soon as I get done, I'm going to go ahead and, edit it, watch the game, and have a great first of my year. Anyway, so first, like I said, no particular order, there were locust swarms in Africa. Locusts. Now, if you don't know what locusts are, they're annoying little pests, little creatures that we probably heard about in the Bible times, in the biblical days, as they say, the Old Testament, some of the plagues. So things like this, I think they even said, well, what's the one with the mosquito? West Nile or something was coming back at one point in time, right? So, 2020, being that 10th year, 2020, everybody was like, okay, we got locusts, man. We got this crazy stuff happening. We got, just all these things. And so everybody was kind of talking about World War III. And they were like, man, these are the end of the days. All this pandemic talk and all of this, end of the world talk it was crazy. They call it, mass hysteria. That's what they call it. So anyway, we'll keep going. Harvey Weinstein, if you're interested in him, was sentenced to prison for sex crimes. And then there was a point where Vanessa Hudgens, the girl off of the what's that show, High School Musical, we're all in this together. Early on, and a lot of other celebrities did this as well. They came out on their lives or made videos and things, not really taking it seriously. Now, the reason why I brought her up is because she said that COVID wasn't that serious, and we shouldn't, or she didn't care if people died. She it's part of life. Now, she didn't say it as blunt, but that's pretty much what she was saying. She got a lot of flack for that. Hindsight, I don't know. I don't know, but she was kind of very insensitive about it, as we all were. We all thought this was going to be like a 2-week thing and move forward. So Australia faced devastation from wildfires that later carried over to California. So there were a lot of wildfires at a certain point. You have a lot of celebrities, starting these funds, these GoFundMe's, these organizations to help the wildfires. And the wildfires and what did you call that thing? Australia, California, and things like that. So that was crazy. Toilet paper was flying off of the shelves for some reason because of COVID. If you don't know why, please leave a comment on the live for me as well, because why was toilet paper such a thing? I mean, all paper goods, but I see straws and napkins go away, right? I don't think. But I know everywhere you could not find, probably in some areas still can't find toilet paper or Bounty or whatever, because everybody just was hoarding it. A lot of hoarding was going on, a lot of selfishness. They had to make, these papers to say that you only get one per family, one per couple of people. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And it's weird. Why was toilet paper one of those? Okay, anyway, moving forward. It was a lot of Trump ones that I wanted to put on here, but it was too many. So I just chose one. I think there's another one on here, but Trump made a wild and ridiculous claims about COVID, and I put, but what's new? He was like, bleach can kill it. It's not everybody trying to drink bleach. He was like, this is a terrorist, infection. He said all types of crazy stuff. I don't want to give him too much hype because he about to be gone anyway. But he made a bunch of wild claims, which, again, was new. It wasn't just 2020. What's next? So we got... okay, so this is a one I want to talk about for a little bit. Wearing a mask became a political statement because people... became a political statement because people don't take COVID seriously. Now, just from my opinion, it was a huge part of why we're still dealing with this in 2021, because people aren't taking it seriously. They're still going on vacations. They're still not caring. They're not social distancing. They're not doing everything that the CDC or even a common sense person would do to get rid of this virus. And that's what it just kind of shows you how we can be so easily divided just from wearing a mask. Some people, got put out of different stores. They had these little riots and walks that a bunch of people, I ain't never seen a black person, I'm just saying, in these groups, but it had a bunch of people walking through different stores and organizations. We won't wear a mask. We won't wear a mask. COVID is not real. Blah, blah, blah. And, that's a huge part in my belief of why it's still here. Because everybody thought, okay, cool, it's going to be gone in 2 weeks, now in 3 months. Now, in the summertime. By Christmas, we'll be good. New Year, it's going to be lit. And we're still here. And it seems like now it's the United States up on the pedestal now for number one, because it was, I think I forgot the other country, but it was another country. They had like all the worst cases, but they had to go on these crazy quarantines. But we're free, and it's still here. So that's what freedom buys you, more COVID. I don't know. Kanye West ran for president. If you don't remember that, yes, he was on the ballot. Did not vote for Kanye. Cool music, bro, but I think it was more than likely not political stunt, but a publicity stunt. Every time he does something like this, like the MAGA hat or whatever else, he had some music come out, or he had an artwork, or he might be selling like a new shoe or some clothes or something, little rag clothes. So that was the thing. Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman passed. Black Panther. I can name all his movies, but I think he was doing about 3 to 4 movies at the same time while dealing with COVID, and it was crazy. It brought us, brought us all to our knees, kind of. Usually, I don't really get too wrapped up into celebrities passing, but obviously, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. The one that we just saw on Netflix. I think the one with Viola Davis. The one that he was in, you can kind of see how his face was kind of coming in. It wasn't like he just lost weight for the part. Like, you could tell like he was fighting it at a certain point in time. He was getting a lot skinnier than what we've seen him in different roles. And it makes you, question anytime you have somebody that you rock with on a higher level, celebrity level, whatever. It makes you question your own mortality. When people are getting COVID, Tom Hanks, everybody was getting COVID. I was like, wow, okay, now it's hitting home. And it's weird because it's like, okay, Tom Hanks, all right, now it's somebody else, now it's somebody else. Then it got into like, okay, somebody in my state. Then it got to somebody like in my family. Then it got somebody that I actually knew or go to work with. Every time we thought that it wasn't as serious, at least for me, COVID wasn't as serious as it is, somebody closer and closer and closer, got it. And some people, passed from it, other people made it. So, but who wants to take that risk, right? Anyway, so that kind of hit me kind of hard. But rest in peace to Chadwick. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna passed in a helicopter crash. I mean, yeah, Kobe. The dude, just newly retired a couple years ago. Did his thing. He was a mentor. We got to see different parts of Kobe and his organizations, the mentoring kids, doing these camps, still playing, still flying his daughter out to these different games, and just being a pillar, being an OG in the game, doing this thing as basketball players are supposed to do. And seeing that footage, I forgot where I was. Seeing that footage, it's like, yo, 2020. 2020, right? It's wild. And obviously, there was an uproar in the community. There was an uproar in the basketball, NBA community, sports world. He was one of the greats. He was one of the greatest of all time, the GOATs, right? And every time something happened like that, even I put on here too, Alex Trebek, the dude from Jeopardy. He was old, yeah, but bro, Alex Trebek, the dude from Jeopardy passed away as well. And I was like, dang, like these staples in our community. We grew up watching these people, watching them play, watching Jeopardy, right? Everybody watched the episode of Jeopardy. And it's like, bro, all right, we're tacking it on. And so after a while, and I'll take a pause right here. After a while, I feel like, depression started to come in with a lot of people. Because not only were they dealing with their own financial crisis, not only were they dealing with their own issues and, schools closing down. We'll get to that here in a second. Family members might be passing away from COVID or what else like that. If for me, again, I can only speak for myself, but it felt like that people were, getting a little bit more sadder. Couldn't go outside. The sun was shining, but we couldn't go outside and feel it. And it's like, yo, okay. And so that's when I'm not sure when I decided to go to therapy, but that's one of the reasons why, because I'm like, man, I got to get to this. And on this podcast, it's your first time here, we talk a lot about, multi-generational trauma. We talk a lot about, therapy. I have a little subsection called Jay's Therapy Sessions, and my journey on how I'm growing, and people were going to therapy, and people started to, some people committed suicide. Some people didn't know, didn't have any outlets. They went to social media and became destructive. We saw a lot of different things happen on social media. But this different things like that just made you kind of question a lot of things. So anyway, had to put them in there as well, of course. Murder Hornets. Great transition, right? Again, no particular order. Murder Hornets were a thing for a minute. It went up and it went down. Apparently, in parts of the world, there were murder hornets, which is what they were named, killing people. So you get stung, boom, you're done. You're done. And people weren't even surprised at that point. You're like, of course there are murder hornets. Of course Wilson Allen's coming back. Of course everything in the world is coming to an end. People thought the world was coming to an end. I feel like people think that every day. Like they got with the sign, the world's coming to an end, 2020, 2021, 2022. Right? Anyway, Disney came out with a live action series, Mulan, as we all know. And they really thought we were going to pay $30 for it. They thought they was going to get that smooth $29.95 from us on top of the already subscription for Disney. Come on, Disney. We waited. I waited. Okay? My brother, never mind, I ain't gonna say what he did, but, I waited. Other people fire-sticked it. Whatever, right? So, amongst watching the movie, it was a live-action series, we realized that Mushu wasn't even in the movie. Mushu! The whole point of why are we doing this in first? Mushu, man, wasn't even in it. It's wild. So why are we gonna watch Mulan? But anyway, it's one of those movies that you kind of gotta watch anyway because it is Mulan. It's like a staple. Like we all knew Lion King, the live action series, gonna be kind of trash. But Beyonce was in it. We had Childish Gambino was in it. I mean, it was straight, but we didn't get the musicals that we wanted in there. We didn't get all the stuff that we kind of grew up on, and that's what I think people are moving away from. We want to make a live action series and make it all serious and tell the true story of Mulan. But the play on it was dope. And they still gave us some little Mushu like Easter eggs in there. I saw a couple of dragons, but I think her little thing was the phoenix. She had a little power, but it was cool. It was cool. Cool little movie. Now let's take a moment. Oh yeah, let's take a moment of silence for the Netflix show that broke the internet. Okay, can you guess what it is? In the comments, what was the show early on during the pandemic that got us through what we thought was going to be the end of the pandemic? What was it? I'll give you a clue. It had tigers in it. Yes, I'm referring to the show Tiger King, the show that no one wanted to watch, but we were forced to watch anyway, and that we could not take our eyes off of. I did not like the Tiger King when I was watching it at first, but I could not press pause. I could not press pause. I could not press that menu button to get me out of it because it drew you in. Drew you in. Okay? Not drawed you in. It drew you in, not editing that out. But it was a crazy show. You know, you had Carol Baskins, you had the Tiger King, you had everybody. They probably collectively had, 6 teeth amongst all of them. And I mean, I still think Carol Baskins killed her ex-husband. That's just me. But times like that, it was a good time, right? During this whole thing, because we needed something, and it was probably the greatest marketing, strategy I've ever seen. Bringing it out, pushing it up, high. And I don't even remember seeing that many, ads and stuff for that particular show. That was a big word of the mouth show that people just kind of got into. Tiger King was one of the craziest moments of 2020. Okay, so what we got now? Well, oh yeah, and Carol Baskins was on Dancing with the Stars. I heard on the grapevine that if you go to Dancing with the Stars, your career is over. So if you were just professional, whatever, that you were famous for something, and you end up on Dancing with the Stars, your career is pretty much over. Carol Baskin never really had a career. She had like a little hype, but I mean, if you see the pictures, man, she was dressed up in a tiger, outfit and whilst dancing, and it was wild. But yeah, enough of that. Next, we have a whole bunch of famous people got COVID, and like I talked about before, that kind of made us take it a little bit more seriously. This isn't everybody, but The Rock got it. Prince Charles got it. Andy Cohen, Pink, Doja Cat, Lena Dunham, Bryan Cranston, Antonio Banderas, Alyssa Milano, Kevin Hart, Brian Cox, Robert Pattinson, the guy from Twilight, the little vamp dude, the one with the square-looking head. Tiffany Haddish, Jim Parsons. Jim Parsons, the guy from that smart dude. He smart on TV. What's the name of that show? It was a bunch of nerds put together. I forgot the name. I don't know. Kanye West, Boris Johnson, Rand Paul, Chris Cuomo, and Harvey Weinstein. So every time we saw somebody get it, it was like, whoa. And then it was like, how we kind of go on roller coasters, right? Oh, wow, Kevin Hart got it. Next day, what's next? We did a lot of this, a lot of roller coasters, because we're just so used to just news. Okay, what's new? That's old. What's new? That's old. And we just keep feeding ourselves with stuff for social media, and we never really get to see the gravity of these people getting it in their lives. And really dang, this is real. Nobody took it seriously because I ain't get it. I don't care if Jim Parsons got it, right? But whatever. I digress. The only response, this is the next one. The only response we got from the NFL about racism was that they painted, I think, "end racism," all in caps on the field, and did nothing else. So obviously, I mean, the movement did not start with Kaepernick, but I was just talking about for at least our era and our generation. You had Kaepernick doing this whole thing. And all this time, they was like, we good, not gonna say nothing. It was very low things that they did, but this is supposed to be their grand gesture to put in racism on the field, and then said nothing else about it. We hadn't heard from them that I know for a fact, at least about NFL. All right, so Ebola, like I talked about before, of all things, decided to can't come back in the Congo during an already global pandemic. I mean, 2020. Bro, what's up? Like, you mad at us or what? You mad? Are you mad? You know? And this is another point too. A lot of people, I'm gonna talk about this later on in a second too. A lot of people thought that God was not here because of all this stuff that's happening. He was like, man, Jesus finna come back. There's finna be hellfire everywhere. Y'all better get y'all life together. Yes, get your life together. But you gotta understand, throughout the Bible, history in general repeats itself. Throughout the Bible, this isn't that extreme. All the stuff that happened, I'm not even done yet. All the stuff that happened in the Bible all the time. I mean, it really did. You talking about the locusts, the plagues, the people dying, the people getting stoned, killing, rape, all types of stuff. And we were so surprised by it now just because it's being publicized. But like, bro, this ain't nothing new. So I mean, it sucked. Don't get me wrong, but like looking back on it, it's like, man, this is another year. Because anyway. Where am I at? This one's for the ladies, okay? Michael B. Jordan won People's Sexiest Man Alive Award. And that's it. Okay, Barack Obama came out with his memoir this year. I have yet to read it. And you can put in comments below if you have read it or know somebody who has, that if it was good or not. I think most of my sisters asked for it this year for Christmas. And I still got to read it. I'm more of a digital man, so I'm going to actually get probably the ebook or listen to it. I think I wouldn't mind hearing Barack Obama read the book. But he has that the little presidential tactful pause, all right, and like that. I don't know if I could hear that for an hour. Because he's probably going to do the same thing that he did, he's done for his 8 years of his presidency. But I don't know. I've seen interviews of him now, though. It's been pretty chill. He's more vocal now than he was ever before. Anyway, next. The Pentagon actually released UFO footage, and nobody even cared. All right, so, bro. I remember seeing that, and I'm like, man, the world is going to flip on its head when they see this. The world is going to flip upside down when they see this UFO footage, because people have been talking about this for the longest. And I'm like, yo, this is wild. And nobody said anything about it. I remember seeing them okay, bet. So there was actually UFO footage Pentagon released. And I don't know if they were trying to shut people up or what. But, I mean, nobody cares about UFOs anymore, I guess. That was a thing of the past. All right, next, one of the greatest documentaries of all time was released this year, The Last Dance, Michael Jordan. So it's interesting. I always like documentaries where the person is still alive. Well, most of the people, I think all of the people were still alive for the most part. They were able to attest to what happened back in the Dream Team with the Bulls. And it was amazing, to say the least, in my professional, personal opinion. You saw a man, MJ, that I just had my last episode was called MJ Moments. Check that one out. It's like blood. No, I actually had an episode. These particular episodes on the documentary, it changed the game for how I thought. I mean, I was kind of already on that wavelength, but just to see somebody, make up reasons to be great. Think about that. MJ would. Somebody would look at him. It probably wasn't even looking at him, but they was like, "Oh man, so and so looking at me. Now I gotta flip the switch. Now I gotta go on and do my thing." He would make up any reason to be great. It would get mad on purpose just to be great. Obviously because it's MJ, but now we got to see kind of how his mind was working in these environments and what it took to be great on a consistent basis. And I don't really think I saw that many people talk about the motivational, the inspirational piece. Yes, it was cool seeing them do their thing and talk about the stories and the behind the scenes of it all. But you got a man that, and people call him cocky, and it is what it is. But when you so great, you got to give all glory honor to God. But you got to understand, hey, I did my part. God had the supernatural. I'm cool, right? But it's like, yo, how can I apply that to my life? How can I find reasons to be great on a daily basis in whatever arena that I'm in, podcasting, work, the army, being a police officer, a nurse, a teacher, a musician, whatever, right? How can we find reasons to be great on a daily, consistent basis? It was unheard of. And that's why I think this documentary was so great for me, at least, because the man did his thing. And I feel like we all can do that. I think he said in one part of it, I'm nobody special. He said, but I just work my bleep off. I'm cussing the podcast. No, he said, I just work my tail off, and I just do it. He said, I never give up. I never let up. We got a lot of that from Kobe as well. And he said that was part of his motivation, just seeing his work ethic, and that translated directly into Kobe as well. We have other people that are doing great things in different arenas, not just sports, but it's all about giving yourself that reason to be great on a daily, consistent basis. Yes, you're going to mess up. Yeah, you're going to get sick sometimes. Yeah, things are going to happen, but you got to get back on that horse each time. Don't let the boy ride off without you in the sunset. All right. What's next? The No Tech Talk podcast was released this year. Now, this is interesting because I released this podcast in the beginning of like when COVID was here. I think we started hearing about it in maybe the first or second week of COVID, but March 8th, if I remember correctly, was the first episode. So, I mean, what are the odds? What's up, Risha? What are the odds that as soon as I'm starting something that I was supposed to do last year, a global pandemic hit? And that's why I think a lot of people were in this season where we were building things up, getting to start out, our businesses, our babies that were growing up, and we were like, oh, it was a perfect excuse. It was a perfect excuse for us to give up. How am I supposed to be successful, Jay, in a global pandemic? How am I supposed to be successful and I can't even afford my bills? I'm not calling them excuses. This is a valid excuse. And you could have took it and used it, and you still could be a cool dude. But we had to pivot, right? We had to pivot with whatever this year was doing. Each number I go off of on this list, we had an opportunity to go left or right, to pivot, to be great, try to be great. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to be great. You just tried to try, right? Try to be great. And we also had a lot of excuses of why we couldn't be great this year. Some people hung it up halfway through the year. COVID ain't leaving. I'm not getting my STEMI or whatever people was asking for. And I'm chalking this year up to the deuces. It's out, right? And nobody would have faulted you for it. Nobody would have faulted you for like, yeah, COVID hit. Yeah, it's racism happening. It's getting to me. Yeah, I can't really go outside, so I'm kind of depressed. Fight back. Okay? And I'm going to get to that here in a second. I don't want to get too riled up just yet. I got a couple more to go. All right. So, Cardi B. I forgot to put this in here. Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion came out with this song called WAP. Now, if you don't know what WAP stands for, don't even worry about it. Do not even worry about it. There was look it up. WAP. Anyway, this song, I mean, it blew up the charts, the double platinum, all other good type of stuff. So there was this shift in this song about women's rights and about, Cardi B was saying she don't cook or clean, and Megan Thee Stallion being Megan Thee Stallion with her knees. And it was people were, I guess the woke people, or this, whatever you want to call them, it's a movement saying that, you're dramatizing, or what's the word? You're just hyping up the idea of being, promiscuous or a certain type of way or whatever else, and it's not good. Now, Cardi B's already come out and said that I'm not here to be your daughter's motivation, but at the same time, I mean, again, as a guy, obviously I'm gonna like it, but for women, I don't know. It was the whole thing back and forth. But they were unapologetic about it. It hit the charts. It was a moment, and everybody was talking about their WAP. Other people were saying having a WAP was unhealthy to a certain extent because if it's wet it to be, then you might be sick or have some medical issues. That I thought that was funny. I think the Shapiro said something about that, and then he got the whole thing. I also want to put too, hey, you better enjoy it while you got it, because I'm usually not a guy that talks about anything in the media or the news. So I'm recapping the whole year. I thought it'd be fun to do it for this particular episode. So enjoy it while you got it, because I'm gonna be in the media like that. All right. So next, churches were forced to pivot to just an online service, and people were traveling far and wide just to risk it all for a service that was in person. Now, you do what you're gonna do. Okay, do what you want to do. I ain't driving nowhere to risk my life when I got God right here. People, I mean, there's always a time. We always bring people to church, right? You don't want to bring them to church, man. I can do God right here. This was that time. People always say, I don't want to go to church with you. I can do God in my house. This was that time to be in the house. Still watch it online, in my opinion, of course. Still watch it online. Still do what you got to do, praise and worship, play the songs, the scriptures, whatever else, right? But just don't go nowhere. Chill, man. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, you know how hard it is to do social distancing in the church, like 6 feet apart. You have about 10 people in that thing. Unless they're, even in the Mega Dome or whatever, TD Jakes, you still got maybe like 1,000. I don't know. But just stay home. But I know of people that were driving, nothing against y'all, but it's like, bro, stay home. It ain't that deep. And that's what was getting people. Back to the original point. They were just tired of being in the house. They was tired of, they had their own limits. They had their own time limits for how long they thought COVID or this pandemic, this global pandemic should end. So after June, no, I'm gonna give it to June, bro. If it's not church not coming, I'm just gonna drive somewhere else and go. I'm taking my family. We're gonna risk it all. We're gonna wear a mask. Do what we gotta do. Good for y'all. Hope y'all ain't got it. God bless you. All right. Next. Here we go. Yeah, we're all forced to adapt this year to a virtual lifestyle that is including children having to do school online. I mean, it was a lot. Parents were complaining about making school lunches. I ain't got no kids personally, but it was amazing to me how making a lunch could cause so much of an inconvenience. Comment below if you think I'm wrong or you whatever, right? You send me an email if you're mad about what I just said. But bro, it's a lunch. I mean, come on, chill. You working from home, they working from home. Make the lunch. Go get the little square pieces, bro, dog, and get the little Lunchables or whatever. I don't know. Again, I ain't got kids, so this is my own personal opinion. If you don't like, you're off the podcast. All right, no tag. But it's because of that, Zoom became the #1 app in the App Store ever, okay? I looked it up a couple weeks ago. I made this note just for this particular episode, but I mean, obviously, Zoom was the #1 app for 2020. I mean, in general. Zoom, I think Google Hangouts was like 3, but I mean, everybody was Zooming. Everybody, Zoomies everywhere. Zoom call for this, Zoom call for church, Zoom call for work. FaceTime was high, okay? Anytime, any way you could virtually call somebody, those were up. I bet you Zoom made a lot of money. What they say? Some people really had it hard through them. I mean, I get the kids. I promise I get the kids. I really do. It's just, they're your kids. I can complain all I want about my dog waking us up early in the morning. He just had diarrhea the other day. But I bought the dog. Just saying, you had the kid. But again, not my business. It's y'all kids. I know it's hard. I'm not here to combat that. But come on now, lunch? Whatever. And I get it. You want that time. It's your time away from your kids. And you go back to school. Y'all be good. But, don't risk. I mean, people were risking their children's lives just because they wanted a little bit of peace. I mean, you got to suck it up. But again, that goes back to something that we're not used to. Okay, we're not used to staying at home, everybody being at home all the time. And I wasn't even on the list. Divorces were up 50%. I know it was like 50 or 75%. 75% because you were stuck at home with your wife or your spouse and you realized that you did not like them that much. Divorce was climbing like Jacob's ladder, sure was. People were forced to look at their spouse in the eye, not get that 8-10 hour break a day, and they were forced to talk to each other. It ain't that much stuff to watch on Netflix, so eventually you gotta talk to that person. And divorces skyrocketed in the country as well. What is next? Biden and I think it's Kamala Harris. They won, dog. You thought I was gonna forget? Nah, they won. We out cheered. They kicked Trump out of office and Pence, and in a couple of days, I think it's a week, right? A couple of days, we're going to be having a new president. So, I mean, a lot of people say it was lesser of two evils. I'm not a political guy at all, but I'm just happy to have that dude out of office. Even on the Republican side, people are just happy to have something different. Because personally, I could not do 4 more years with your boy, with the orange. What they call him? What they call Trump? He's like an orange man? I don't know. So what's next? So congratulations to Biden and Mrs. Harris. Next, sadly, there are too many to mention for sure. I actually looked up the list. I think it was 161 unarmed black people were Donald Duck. But yeah, don't make me laugh. It's a serious moment. Again, people who listen on this podcast, I'm on Facebook. Don't forget, reading the comments. I think it's 141, 161. If I'm wrong, comment, look it up, let me know. But were killed unarmed by police violence and brutality. Now, this is something I got from my wife. People are saying that, okay, all this civil unrest and all this unjust times, and people had every type of phrase to say, but racism, civil unrest, this trying time, this crazy moment, these just things that keeps popping. No, racism. Black people are dying as a result of racism from police officers. Straight how it is, no chaser, right? And people, I found myself saying it too because I kept hearing it so much. But I was like, no, call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. Racism in the country. I did a whole episode on Ahmaud Arbery. I was pretty mad on that particular episode. And my boy Marcel, we talked about that for a good minute. Just that was part of my process, letting things out, allowing myself to feel. Because, the world tells us that, okay, something happens, we got to suck it up and deal with it on our own time. But no. I know for a whole day, I was just on everybody's comments. I deleted about 17 people who were saying all this racist stuff, all this stuff that was happening, with Breonna Taylor, Rashad Brooks, Elijah McClain, George Floyd, Aaron Bailey, Alton Sterling, just to name a few. All right? Just to name a few. At the hand of police officers. And so it was stupid, and it's still happening. And I've done other episodes on that if you kind of want to hear more in-depth opinion about that as well. But it happened, and it's not that Ahmaud Arbery or I think George Floyd was the first to be treated like that. His family be out on Front Street like that. But because of this year as well, which is what we're talking about, 2020, it's like, dang, something else, dang. For real? Bro, really just walking down the street? Really, he was just running. He got hunted down like a dog. Really, bro? In front of her boyfriend. Came in and busted in the house and shot everything up. Really? Went straight to the wall? Really? He was only holding the back of his heels? Really? And it's just like, it keeps tacking on. And a lot of times, I feel like that we see things on social media, negative things, or just in life, hear about things, and we're not aware of the toll it takes on our mental and physical bodies. We're not aware of why we cry so easily sometimes. We're not aware of why we get angry in certain situations, because it's like you holding it all in. And, as Black people, we're supposed to hold it in and be the best that we can in each of these environments, and everybody else only giving 80%, right? We're all supposed to be on 100. And so when things happen like this, it hardens us, and, we wonder why we get, those stereotypes come out. The angry Black women, the angry Black man. It's not, we're not angry. We're just tired, right? We're just tired. And I don't want to stay too long on this because I had my whole little, debacle in my head about this and everything. But, it sucked, and it still sucks. So stop being racist. There you go. I also got Tighten the Dog. This is last on the list. This is a year, I understand, I got Tighten the Dog, and it was great. The dog, he's super dope. Got a poodle, Tighten the Dog. Tighten the Dog on Instagram. I'm sorry, Tighten the Poodle on Instagram. Slight plug from him if you want to see how he looks. Anyway, but I do understand the love for animals. Never understood why people love their animals this much, and now I do. Shout out to you, dog. All right, so with all that being said, obviously this whole list is, not everything that happened. I got good things, bad things, but I kind of want to give y'all a perspective shift. There's a reason why I did not release this yesterday, all right? It's the first day. It's the first day of 2021. And I did the recap of the last year, the one we're trying to forget, right? Because you have an opportunity to start on this first day. Now, personally, that's me. I start my years over on my birthday. That's just something I always do because, every year I'm getting a little bit older, right? But for most people, they do it on the first of the year. This is not a episode about resolutions, about New Year's resolutions. It's not at all. But I wanted to give people and let them know. I want to let people know that God is still good throughout all of it. God is just dope, right? All them shirts you got, God is dope. Do you really know what you're wearing? How dope is God? God is dope, right? We have to attack this year from all angles. For example, I look at areas in my life where I took a chance on myself with this podcast. I took my health more seriously. I took my mental health more seriously and found a therapist, just to name a few. I can't talk and try to be different and try to You know, hey, what's up, Miss Broden? I can't talk all this stuff, right? I can't breathe all this hot air and not do it myself. So I gave people an opportunity, especially to kind of come into my brain a little bit, especially with Jay's therapy sessions. They had your boy crying. Man, that's wrong. On the episode. To be vulnerable. This was an opportunity for me to give a call to action to men, especially to be vulnerable. That if you have an inner circle, bro, I love you, man. What's up, dog? I ain't talked to you in a minute. And we got all that stuff that we talk about, but it's just being a little bit more vulnerable. Am I telling you to be sensitive? No. Am I telling you to, start crying every day? No. Do yoga? Do all this stuff that you think is feminine? No. I'm just saying, bro, take care of your emotional state as well. Take care of your mental state as well. I get it. As a man, everything falls to us, especially in our families. We're married, we have children, even a dog. My dog look at me to feed me him every day. We're looked at in our jobs, in our social environments, to just handle it and deal with it and to not feel in so many environments. But I charge to you, man, to feel, to have your outlet, to get it out, because it will ultimately destroy you if you don't have an outlet, if you don't have a way to get it out, if you don't have a release, if you can't be vulnerable with anybody. I was blessed to do a men's meeting for my church, and I talked about the relationship that Jonathan and David had. And, and this was funny. I thought it was interesting, but in some translations, it's a million translations out there. They even thought that Jonathan and David were in a relationship. That's how close they were. They thought that they were together. Is that not wild? I'm not saying you got to do that. I don't advocate for that at all, but that's how close they were. That's how close of a bond that they had when you say, hey, that's my brother, that's my friend. Don't take friend lightly in 2021. Don't take my brother or my sister lightly 2021. It's reevaluate and understand what that word means. That's why I didn't have that many friends in high school, because I knew what a friend was too early. I always tell my parents, like, y'all, it wasn't a handicap, but it was just like, I wish I would have just grew up a little bit later instead of earlier, because I had older parents. I knew what a friend was, so I didn't have that many friends, And so it's like, and I also talked about in therapy sessions as well, just being able to see how you grew up and how that affects you now, how it's going to affect your children in the future. That's another reason why I went to therapy. For all my people who don't have kids out there, you don't want to pass off your demons to your children. Whew. What? You don't want to pass off your habits, your demons, your skeletons to your children. And that's one of the biggest things. And I've had people email me and text me, people that I didn't even know, like, bro, thank you. And so, I feel like that and I always pray before I do one of these podcasts, because I want, God to talk and not me to talk. Anyway, so there's a change that we all have to make, and not just this year, but in general. I'm not even talking about physical. You're going to work out, you're going to stop in March. We all know people fall off from everything that they do. So I challenge you not to even make a New Year's resolution, to just constantly be great. If I was going to make this episode in November, I would say start now. Don't start in the first, start now, right? We have to stop making excuses for the things that may have happened to us, okay? And control our own stuff. We got to deal with it. We have to deal with it and allow God to take us places we can never dream or make a resolution about. God is bigger than your New Year's resolution. God is bigger than the stuff that you have dealt with. And we use that as an example. I had an episode I did called Let's Talk About It, with a capital IT, right? It was about church hurt. And it was about people, having an excuse about why they don't go to church, or why they don't do church, quote unquote, or why they don't have a relationship with God. I mean, it could have been like, the grandma was with the uncle, and the deacon was messing with the pastor wife, whatever else, right? And we use these excuses. I'm not saying they're not valid excuses. If something happened to you that was extremely traumatic, I'm not downplaying that, right? Well, how are we going to rise above it? How are we going to move forward? Are we going to continue to use that excuse or that trauma or that whatever happened and let it mold us and shape us to somebody who we don't want to be? Yes, feel. Yes, process. Yes, get the help that you need. But how long are you gonna, stay in that muck, as they say, be stuck in the muck, right? How long are you gonna be there? And it's just the call to action is just, allow God to work on you from the inner workings of your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit. Allow him to do that. Give him an opportunity to work on you, right? Work on you. This isn't, again, it's not a New Year's resolution thing. If I only say about New Year's resolutions, get closer to God. If you're going to make one at all, get closer to God. Because everything that has happened this year, it's just about a mindset. It's a perspective shift on, okay, this happened, but God is still good. This happened, but God is still good. I may not have enough toilet paper, but God is still good, right? Being already in it, and then when things happen to you, it lessens the blow when you're already praying, you're already meditating, you're already doing the right things that you're supposed to be doing. I think I'm almost done. Joshua 1:9 says that, be courageous, do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That's your scripture. I'm not sure if I already used it already, but it's a good one. That's the one that stuck out to me. Be courageous. Do not be frightened. Not saying you're not going to get scared, but God got you, right? It's like, and I always tell people, it's like having a 45 on your hip and you walk into a room. They don't know you got it, but you know you got it. And if something pop off, you know what I'm saying? God is at 45. He is. God is at 45. Because you walk a little bit taller when you got a gun on your hip. I'm just saying you do. Because you be like, I dare somebody to come. And that's how we got to do it with God. That's exactly how we have to do it with God. God is at 45. Imagine, I've been telling people, you don't know how dangerous I am. Ooh, a man on fire for God is something serious. Okay? A woman on fire for God is something serious. Because they already know. They already got that discernment. They already in the inner workings of their spirit, man. And they working it. So they ain't nothing that you could do, say, that can happen to me that I wasn't already prepared for. It might surprise me, but it didn't surprise God. And I got God. So let's go, right? Let's go. Back when I was personal training, I always try people to understand that being healthy is more than just about, looking like Beyonce or looking like Denzel or Will Smith, whoever you're going to look like, right? Cardi B, blah, blah, blah. And it was a mental shift they had to make to achieve their goals even after we quit working together. So for an example, hey, Jay, I want to lose 15 pounds to get into this wedding dress by June. All right, cool. Why? I want to look good, but why? Because I want people to see me in this dress, but why? Because, you got to go deeper, right? A lot of times our first couple of sessions would just be at Starbucks. And I would talk to them. We wouldn't even work out, wouldn't lift no weights, wouldn't do no push-ups, none of that, right? Because I wanted to get down to kind of, the nit-grit of it all. Like, I would like the shower test. How do you see yourself? Do you like yourself when you see yourself in the mirror naked, right? So something similar like that. It's deeper than just your physical. It's your mental, because I can get you in a dress. I know what I'm doing. You can work out, we get there, but as soon as you get done off the honeymoon, you gain them 15 pounds right back, and what's the whole point? Right? Do you want to be great just for a moment? You want to fit in that dress just for a moment? Or do you want to be great forever? Do you just want to be great just to reach a goal, or you want to be great for the rest of your life? It's progression, I want to end, and I think I'm doing good, just right under an hour. I want to end with the movie Soul. If you haven't seen the movie Soul, it came out on Christmas. It's a super dope movie. I'm going to watch it again. I feel like it's a lot of stuff that I missed, but they gave kids and really adults, because Disney's been making movies, man, for adults. I feel like they've been making us feel some stuff, dog. I ain't crying. I want no punk. No, I was just playing. But it reminded us that we look and strive for things that will fulfill us. We really need to stop and smell the roses and to take one minute at a time. Yes, be goal oriented. Yes, strive for things. Yes, have ambition. But don't be so quick and don't be so focused to where you lose yourself. They had a clip in a movie where people were so into their careers. They were so into this one thing they were good at. They became a lost soul because everything else in the world, family, friends, life, stopped the smelling of roses, they forgot about. And we tend to lose ourselves when we get to these moments and we get to these levels and we forget who we were, where we came from. And that's not the right idea, at least in my opinion. But that's it. From the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Yes, I did not forget him. Life is a marathon, he said, and not a sprint. So with all that being said, this has been another edition of the No Tact Talk podcast. It's always a reminder to live life on purpose and to always live with a little no tact in your life in general. Peace.